Welcome to the Real Estate Reserve Podcast with your hosts, Jason Balin and Ian Horowitz.
What's up? I like that. that new countdown was kind of cool.
Yeah, it was like going on forever, and then it switched, and then I don't know what was going on. I got nervous.
I know, exactly. Welcome to the Real Estate Reserve Podcast. Today is 8/3, August 3rd. Got a fun show. As everybody knows, if you're just tuning in for the first time, typically we talk about real estate, business, finance, marketing, lots of stuff that Ian and I would normally just get on the phone with or meet up with and talk to. But instead of doing that kind of together one-on-one, we decided to make it open with everybody so everyone can hear kind of behind the scenes of what we talk about on a regular basis. So a few topics today. First off, it's PGA Championship week, one of my favorite weeks of the year. I got my PGA Championship shirt, got one of my hats from a few years ago. As you may or may not know, my brother typically qualifies for this event, so he's out in San Francisco right now. I'm usually at the event, but I didn't head out there this year, so I'm not at the PGA Championship. I'm watching it from the comfort of my own home, which is the first time that I've done that over the last 7-8 years since he's been out there, since he's qualified for that. So we'll jump into the PGA Championship a little bit. I'm not sure how versed Ian is related to that topic, but we'll get him on that on that as well. But more importantly, let's jump in to talk about. And again, this is all going to turn around into real estate investing in business and marketing and finance, I promise you. It's not just going to be some offshoot topics. But let's talk about Ian, or ask Ian if he should quit the fire department. So this is new to me. I haven't heard much of this before. So this is all going to be raw and live. And I guess you're going to hear it firsthand from me and Ian now. So Ian, give us some reasons behind why this topic even exists, of why you think you should be quitting the fire department.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm going through a midlife crisis. I don't know what it is, but recently the topic has come up over and over and over again. Should I separate service from my W-2 job that has a great quote unquote pension and benefits and everything else? But, the more I look at it, the more it's like, it's 52 hours a week that I give up every week that, could I utilize it better into investing into something else? Could I manage my time better? Or, does it give me more family time or whatever it may be? I guess the question is, I don't really have an answer, Jason. Normally I would just call you and we would yap about this. So I figured I'd do it live on TV because people need to know that we're an open book. And honestly, it's something that I've been going through and debating. And I think that our passive investments are slowly but surely gaining steam on our active income. And I think it's something that I could move along and do and potentially separate service and take the money and invest it and offset the income that I would be missing out on. So in all very good points. So a few questions, backstory just for some folks that don't know, and I understand your rationale on that. So how long have you worked at the fire department for, and how long have you invested in real estate for? And the third question is, how long have you thought about this transition or move? So I guess I should share this to my personal page. So let's do that first. This way everybody knows what's going on. So I've been working with 18 complete, 12 complete years in the fire department. That means I would have to do 13 more. I started buying real estate in 2012. So at the very end of 2012. So let's call it 2013. So that's 7 years there. And what was the last question?
How long have you been thinking about it?
But
how long have you been thinking about the fire department, quitting the fire department?
How long have I been thinking about it? Dude, it goes on and off in waves. I mean, there's some days that it's great. There's some days that it's bad. The core essential of it, the job is great, but there's a lot of stuff that weighs down on you. So I would say when I first started investing in real estate, I had 10 properties relatively quick. I debated about quitting then. I was like, and I think by then I only had 5 years in the fire department. And, things go in waves. And I was like, all right, well, I promoted a few other things and I rode the wave for a while. And now I'm back in a funk. So I've hardcore been thinking about this probably for I'm coming up on 8 to 12 months, somewhere in there, where this last round of like really, really thinking about it.
Nice. So it's not just an emotional spur of the moment thing. Because the thing is this. So there's two sides of this, right? So on the one side, it's cool. Well, if I had the mental freedom and the mental, let's call it the mental side. I mean, I don't want to state that the grass is greener on the other side because that's not necessarily true. But on one side, I guess your thought process is, if I could be mentally free from all of this and I didn't have to think about it, I didn't have to go there, I didn't have the time side, it's just one less thing in my life that I had to think about, I'd have a lot more mental clarity and I could potentially jump in more. And I wouldn't say that you're not giving any less than 100% towards real estate investing anyways, but maybe that 100% turns into 110%, and then you can replace that income. You can certainly replace that time, right? So there's that side. But on the other side, you have more of, and again, I don't want to call it a backstop. I don't want to call it a little bit of financial dependency. But on one side, it's like, hey, listen, I can roll the dice over my real estate career. I can take risks in my real estate career because I do have a backstop over here. I have some income that comes in. I have, some structure that comes in, and I have, benefits or whatever you have. And you also have hey, I can act like a high school kid over at the fire department with my group of friends, and that's social. And that's socially.
You witnessed that on the phone the other day when
and that's socially acceptable. Well, I was in like grind business mode, and you were in high school mode when I was talking to you, so it was kind of unfair. We weren't in the same mental place. I was talking serious, and I was there then. So I see both sides of it, and I think this is a good conversation because I think. And when we do videos and we do meetup groups, there's one of the most popular topics is running a real estate investment business when you have a full-time job and you have the setup. And yours is different than a lot of people because you enjoy, well, until maybe a year ago, you had enjoyed that job. And it was not just, it was a hobby and a passion, not just kind of a dead end job that you were kind of stuck with.
Yeah. See, Dan, there you go. He's going through exactly what I talk about. Another day of doing dumb stuff. But here's the grand scheme of things, and I don't discount what you're saying that I give 100% to real estate. I think everybody that knows me, that's true. Question is, could I give 110%? Could we generate additional income? That backstop. Is it a backstop that's preventing us from growing? Taking our business to the next level? It's always like. Well, we bring in this much from there. We don't really need to make that extra amount of money. Would we double down and say, oh shit, like we got nothing, dude. Like we got to go, And I think that truly like that's what motivates me. And I guess part of the problem is that like I can't even look you in the camera because like I don't even know where my train of thought. You can see everyone see how like nerve-wracking this makes me is the fact that like it's a job that we love. At the core essential of it, like when you go to a fire, there's nothing better than that. You can't replace any drug with that, right? But then all the other crap we deal with, it's like how much more can you deal with? Sure, I went fishing with the boys the other day, had a blast, got hammered. It was a grand old time with the boys, right? But when you look at it, is like Saturday I got home or Sunday morning I got home. We took 22 runs in a 24-hour period. Right? I couldn't even move. My wife didn't come home till 1:00 because she knew I was going to be asleep. I wound up sleeping till 3:00. Right? Like that's what quality of life is that? We invest in real estate to have a quality of life, to have freedom, to have everything else. Right? So, I don't know, man. I just feel like if I separated service, it's like, oh shit, it's on me. I got to go. I double down. Like it's time to make tenfold the money. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. I mean, you think you're gonna have the same feelings about this in a week from now?
I don't know. It keeps coming up over and over and over again. So how many more times can you ignore it, right? Like it's the same thing when you first when you first did your first loan. Like how many times you're like, "Oh, this is a great idea. Oh no, it's a bad idea. Oh no, this is a great idea. Oh no, this is a bad idea." And then you finally just did it, and you're like, "Shit, I did it," right?
What?
And then you did it, and you did it again. Great.
Yeah, I mean, listen, when I started Hard Money Bankers, I didn't have any other income come in because I had already quit previous jobs that I was doing because I was like, I want to go all in on this, and it's something that I really, really like. So I was a mortgage broker. Chris and I had owned properties. We had flipped properties. We were in the middle of some flip properties. I worked as like a wholesale rep at, towards the end. So I had kind of a few different eggs in, a few different baskets kind of, but I was like, you know what? I don't feel like doing any of this stuff. I really like the lending side. And I mean, a lot of you don't know our entire backstory, but we didn't have an entity set up. We didn't have a bank account set up until after we did our first loan. So we did our first loan in early December, 2007. And if you go look on, legal filings, our entity wasn't set up and our bank account wasn't set up until after that. We took the proceeds of our first deal. We brought in about maybe $6,500 in our first deal when we created a bank account with that and an entity, and then it was official. And then in 2008, our first year in business, we closed 17 loans. So it wasn't a ton of money, but like I didn't have anything else that I didn't have a backstop for money, number one, and also I didn't have anything that was taking my time away either, right? And whatever, I was in a position that I could obviously do that at that point. Not everybody's in, and it's hard to kind of just quit your job overnight and say, hey, I'm out. I think you make it in your position, you have a lot more flexibility. You already have income coming in. Like my guess is that your lifestyle is not changing. And also the way you look at it is, I mean, how many times does somebody look at something and be like, oh, all I have to do is one more deal and then this will pay for itself. I mean, listen, anytime we spend money in life, we typically has to come from some bucket, right? So it has to come from somewhere. It could come from an asset that's spitting out income to you. It could come from one of your business entities. It can come from whatever your full-time job, whatever the case is. So I think you've probably already gone through that and thought through that. So I think that's all good.
No, I think that's part of it. I think it goes back to everything we've ever discussed over the past few months is like, if you have assets that offset your mortgage, you have assets that offset your car payments, you have assets that offset whatever other lifestyle things that you want, is there really a change? Like for me, I don't think there would be much of a change in my lifestyle. I think I'd be much more free and potentially much more happy because in the grand scheme of things, we all buy real estate and go out. Like you were down wherever in Florida for a week, you could turn it off and go do your thing. I see someone says transfer out. It worked for me, but like you still have it hanging over your head. You still have to worry about the fire department. You still have a responsibility to go to that job. And that's any W-2 job. Sure, our job is a little bit different, but I also give up 52 hours of my week every single week to go work there versus, someone, it's 40 hours at an office and you're sitting behind a keyboard. I think a lot of people are finding freedom in working from home now. And I hope a lot more businesses get opened or a lot more people take that leap of faith now that they're working from home with the whole coronavirus thing. Yeah.
And maybe that's where this is coming from. Maybe that, a lot of people that that are working regular jobs as well as investing in real estate is they're doing it from their houses and they're doing it with more flexibility. And unfortunately, that type of job, you can't fight fires from your living room. Well, in your position, at least.
Let's start a media website.
True. Well, let me ask you a question. What's going to happen with, Brotherhood Buffs and all these other things? Like you're going to be called a poser if you continue to, do content and do podcasts on something that you're not even a part of anymore.
Hey man, everything's for sale. I'm sure we can find some young guy that's way more into it to run that page and they would absolutely love it. So I'm not,
I understand.
No worries.
All right, why don't you go through Pete's question because that's a very good question because I actually think for anyone who's working a full-time job and they're nervous or they're not sure if they can quit, can they qualify, for bank debt because banks play a big role in this real estate business.
I would say me personally now. So when I first started, Pete, I 100% agree with you. When we first started, we 100% needed our W-2 job to offset some of our, DTI and everything else to get approved for loans. Now, I would think the balance sheet's big enough that we should not have any issues, and we have enough assets and cash in the bank that I don't foresee that being an issue. And I think that's part of the reason now why I'm like, you know what? I think it's time to move on because I don't really need that. I was holding on to it for that, and I was holding on to it for insurance. And I always looked at it, hey, they're paying me whatever a week to come there and get insurance. But now that I don't really need the W-2 job to get approved for loans, I guess what's the point, right? Like what's the point? I don't know. I don't have a good answer. I'm telling you, I'm literally figuring out here on the live stream.
I'm gonna make everybody a deal. So I know typically we have a few thousand people that watch this over, about a week time frame, and usually, 20 to 30 live at, in real time, and that's where we're at about now, right around now. So on different platforms. Oh, by the way, we're on LinkedIn. By the way, for the first time, we finally got approved, so this is live on LinkedIn as well. So
I'm embarrassing myself there too.
So let's do this. This, and you got to agree to this, Ian, about what I'm about to say. So if we can get 5 people live right now to put yes in the comment section, Ian's got to go to work.
I gotta walk in and quit
and say shove it, and then listen, you gotta quit, and you gotta make some video content for it, and you gotta share it with everybody. You gotta share it with everybody and say, hey, listen, this was and make a little success story about it. This is how I did it. I put in the hard work. I'm at a place in my real estate career right now that I'm comfortable quitting, and do it. So let's get 5 yeses real quick. And I already know we should be able to get 5 right now, because half the people on here already that commented already said something. So let's do 5 yeses right now, and then we'll make sure Ian
bails out of the. I got to delete all the shares. No, but the other thing is that, like, when you look at it, we're working towards this fake pension, right? Like, the reason I started buying real estate was because you don't count. Was because I wanted to offset our pension because we didn't know if it was going to be there. And we're going through another financial crisis. We're witnessing it happening again. How many more times can I keep working through these and say, oh yeah, I'm going to have a retirement. I'd rather get my money out now. If I could walk away with $100,000, go buy a $500,000 asset, and it cash flows $2,500 a month, right, or whatever it may be, that'd be a sick return. But whatever I can get it to return back to me and start to offset my income and have that long term, passive cash flow that replaces my fire department income with money that they were holding from me anyway, that is unobtainable. Mackin anyway. But with that being said, it's you just got to look at it. It's like your money's locked up. Could you unlock it and do better than what you're waiting for the city to do it for you? It's the same thing with your Social Security.
All right. So what's that number? Like, let's talk about.
Put Mackin's comment up there. I've done that plenty of times. Thanks, John Patrick. I'll find a way. I'm getting out. I'm going to be on the same retirement order as you, buddy. So.
Shoot, lost my train of thought. So yeah. Okay. So we don't have to talk about dollar wise, but like, how many deals? Like if you bought one more, how many more units would you have to buy per year? Now, keep in mind, you buying a unit is very different than someone else buying a unit. And let me explain. So let's say someone goes and buys, let's say they buy like their first 5 units, like their net cash flow is probably much different than yours. You have a system in place. Having a system in place, just like we have a system in place with loans. Someone could go give me 10 new loans today and I can fund all of them. Obviously they have to work and they have to be the right deals, and you can too. If someone brings you a 10 unit property tomorrow, you have the resources to put in place, and you'd have to do very little work because you have the system in place. So let's talk about that. Like, how many units would you need to acquire? And let's say said, cool, I got 52 more hours free. And just say you take 20 of them, right? You take 20 more hours a week now that you have free, right? But how many more units would you have to buy by the end of the year in order to break everything even?
Okay, let's
where you are financially.
Let's do it this way. If I need to replace a $60,000 salary, right? That's what is that? Is that $5,000 a month? So essentially, I need $4,800 a month. If our net cash flow is $400 a month, that means I need to buy one house a month for the next year, and I literally replace the fire department income. Right? That's $400 a month. That's a no-brainer. I just got to make sure Terry Royce doesn't rip me off when I'm buying. I mean, other than that, I think I could do the $400 a month. Or, can we do one White House Apartments or one
that's right,
West Virginia deal a year, and have your year set up for, it's one place for Ryan to go. It's nice cash flow out of one asset over and over and over again.
I get it. And I wouldn't worry too much about Terry. I don't even know where Terry is these days. Doesn't refer.
He texted me the other day. I miss him.
That's good. I haven't seen him around. I haven't seen emails from him. Who knows what he's up to? So he probably won't be ripping you off.
And I think that's what started before we keep bashing Terry is that when we bought that 34 unit, and now that we're seeing a cash flow and we've done everything we said we're going to do, and the amount of work it took to do that one deal, and the amount of work it took to do White House apartments, I just envision doing that once a year or twice a year, and that sets our whole team up for a whole entire year or 2 quarters or 3 quarters, and it's very predictable income going forward, you know?
I get it. And you get 52 more hours a week with screaming babies and screaming kids, so nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, well, now that reminds me of why I don't, I got to go to work.
Yeah, you mean
you might 48 hours of free time. So.
Exactly. So that's the first part of that is financially, right? And I think the financial part's important, right? But that's not everything. I mean, your job's different than other people's jobs because, like, you admit this publicly that, it is somewhat of a hobby. It is kind of like a passion. Like it's not like, hey, I'm going to go to work and I'm going to sit in front of a typewriter for 8 days, for 8 hours. And I'm going to go punch back in and do the same thing. Like yours is a little bit different setup in general. I'm not saying that, you haven't had enough and you shouldn't get out. Also, you're risking your life. So that's enough. So yeah, it might be a different setup, but at the same time, you're risking your life a little bit differently than somebody typing on a typewriter, maybe, depending on where they work typing on a typewriter. But, in general, there's that side of it as well. Like you're going to miss your friends over there. You're going to miss I don't know who you're going to miss. I don't know many of them, but my guess is you will. So who knows? But the way to look at it, though, is 2 sides. Number one, you already decided that in 12 months from now, you can completely economically get back to where you are, right? And then you have 52 hours extra every week that you can create new hobbies. You can finally maybe get good at golf, maybe. You're gonna need more than 52 hours a week for that, actually. But who knows? Maybe you do volunteer fire department one day a month. I don't know, something to get those, get your kicks back.
And I think another thing that kind of set this off, and leave this with the guy, I just hit 50 years in the fire department. Everyone's like, oh sorry, I got stuff on my kids, enemy stuffed animals. 50 years in the fire department. Well, that sounds amazing. And who wouldn't love a 50-year career? Is that what 50 years, man? Like 50 years of your life just gone for what? It's like, that's cool and all, but you're losing money going to work every day. And I guess part of that is the fear that I have of like, yeah, I'm going to work every day, but like, I know we talk about just hold on another 5 years, another 5 years, another 5 years, it'll be okay. But I think at a certain point, you got to change your lifestyle a little bit and just keep it moving. Like I noticed you work from home a lot more now, and it's probably something that's going to stick with you. It's just, I think there's certain lifestyle things that need to get amended, and don't let your life get past you, and it'll be worth it. If you make the change today, rather than getting to year 50, when I got 25 years in and I can leave, I'll be 50, and it's only, people say it's only 13 years away, but a lot of stuff happens in 13 years, let alone your own health, but your kids and everything else. So I don't know, man. I just figured I'd put it out here, talk to everyone else about it.
I'm pro quit.
I see.
Pro quit. I mean, I think in general, like, I think because you're the right personality type and you're motivated mentally to do the right things. A lot of people quit their job and they have no structure in place, and they're just going to F around and do stupid stuff that's not going to do any good for them. You're going to have a lot more free time to do positive things. If I have more free time, I'm going to do more positive things. In general, every time I've kind of made that mental plunge to, if I could just free up time here or free up energy here, I could be more successful. I could do one more deal. I personally have always done it. That's been easy for me. And I remember one of the first business coaches that we had, our game plan we had long-term plans, business plans for hard money bankers, and we worked backwards. And I remember we had a really big game plan our 5-year game plan was a big game plan. Now, obviously all game plans are big, right? Like imagine think about where you were 5 years from now, right? Like you didn't have many properties. Now imagine fast forward 5 years. Like, you could create a ridiculous goal that you couldn't even dream about. And 5 years is not even all that much time, right? So I remember Chris and I hit our 5-year goal in 2 years. And then we're like, oh, wow. Like, just because we had the mental clarity to do it. Number one, we knew exactly what we were working on and focused on every day because we wrote it down. We had a coach to help us, clarify our goal and also keep us accountable, and we could keep each other accountable for it. And because of it, we just killed it. So I think on your end, if you think it's going to take you a year to replace that income, number one, it's not. It's going to take you 2 months. I guarantee you find an opportunity, because we're opportunistic, right? And if people know how to, if they have if you have habits of being opportunistic and you have habits of doing successful things every day and like waking up, like if you need structure in general, a lot of people do need structure. If you need structure, it might be better to have, something else in place. But like, you already have the structure, right? So you have 52 hours at the fire department, and then you have your 100 some odd hours on other stuff, and you're already filling that up with productive things. So I'm all about it. I think pro quit.
I'm going to take it, man. So, yeah, I don't know. I worry that, I heard a good quote the other day, the indecision is the decision. And that kind of messed me up in the head. So now it's like, I got to go, dude. I got to decide one way or the other,
Go,
gone. Quit today.
We
Bye.
decided.
My lieutenant's watching. I should quit today and make him do the paperwork, right? So
I didn't get enough yeses on this post, unfortunately, but that's our. What's your business partner think? What's he think?
You see what he posted here? He said, I'm definitely about to quit. So he can see EMS class.
Yeah, but I don't know if he's joking around, if he's serious. Well, Blake said a hell yeah.
Yeah.
Blake said come down to Florida.
Yeah, I should go to Florida. I should just quit and move in with him.
Not even it's cooler in Florida than up here.
Probably is.
although, hey Blake, is that storm going to hit you guys? I hope not. We'll see. Cool. All right.
With that being said, I want to wish your brother best of luck. I'm going to have to throw a few bucks on him. Let me know what your thoughts are. But we need to put some money on him and pray to God he wins.
PGA Championship. If you're just tuning in for the first time,
and he got an exemption into the Open, didn't he?
Yes, he'll be in the U.S. Open in September too. So PGA Championship this week, U.S. Open in a few weeks. I'm going to the Open. I got to quit. I can go with you. You can't go with me. There's no fans again. You're screwed. I mean, I gotta go under manager status or coach status. I mean, I could have gone to I had credentials to go to San Francisco. They flew out. I flew out yesterday, but I didn't really feel like going all the way out to San Francisco. But the U.S. Open's easy because I can drive up there and it's 10 minutes from his house and I can stay there. So I'll be there.
So, well, I got to run because I got to get somewhere.
All right. Well, after this post, feel free to continue to type in yes. Email Ian at equitywarehouse.com. Yes. And put it in his head. Enough of us say yes. He already knows the decision. You know why he knows the decision? Because he's talking about this. Right. He's talking about it. He's talking about it openly. So
he needs some more validation. That's all.
Yep. He just needs more validation. If Terry Royce would hop on and give him the right validation, actually, he might F with your head even more.
Yeah.
So maybe you don't want. Maybe you don't want him. But. So, all right, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this show. Hopefully, I don't know if it came back around with enough real estate business, marketing, and finance tools and tips, but we'll be back on later this week, and promise to give you as much info as we can to help your real estate careers. All right, guys.
See you
next time.
Thanks for tuning in to the Real Estate Reserve Podcast. Do us a favor and like, comment, and share our broadcast. It helps the algorithm and helps us spread the word too. Till next time, thank you for